They said, you alcoholics are great givers and takers, but you don't know how to receive.
What you take.
Well, I'll
Take is
let you
different
do the
than
same thing
receive.
that I did. Work with it.
On what right page did he die, brother?
84, if you look on the date end.
Well, thank you.
The date
He was
is
84.
on page
That's what
11.
I get.
Yeah, he was 84 when he died. Yeah. See, that's very important.
I learned from
The-
community
it-
service.
It opposes receiving the gift of your creation. And if we're going to be honest about who we are, we have to admit that we are the gift of God. Our very existence comes from God as a gift. We are receivers of that gift. And part of the excitement of sinning is to say, well, I'm not going to receive anything. I'm going to do this on my own. And whether we sin by becoming alcoholics or some other sort of worship of some creature, it's basically the same thing to refuse the gift. Mark? Sure. So,
You know, recently I can't articulate very well today, but in my own thoughts and meditations, I came to thinking that God is a multifaceted, multi-dimensional, intimate being, and that we are, in a sense, co-creating with Him or constantly working with Him. Not that we're at the same level necessarily, but without even thinking about that, at what level am I? We're in communion constantly. The only thing I could think of is co-create because of the intrinsic, and also that truth shall set us free. It just came to me one day at a very different level.
right.
The truth really does set us free. And then I thought to myself, and you don't have to really do anything about it if you see a truth in whatever situation. Nothing especially has to be done about it right then and there, but just the opening of it. And I thought I'd share that.
Yeah, see, that's wonderful. This is an excellent way to consider it. That what we come across as fragments in our experience, they all come from God. So God looks like a multifaceted, a multidimensional, but while God is the source of all of those things, He has given them. He didn't have to do that. He just so loved the world that He did these things. Right? And once He has done that, we recognize, here I am as one of those gifts. So my proper dynamic is to accept the gift, to be thankful, to give glory and praise to God for the gift that I am and for all these other gifts that God has laid out there, and then to get on with the co-creating.
Or participation.
Yeah. See, when we accept that gift, give that gift away to become community with other people, then we are into creating the unity among people that God would like for us to freely create. He's not going to impose it upon us, but He wants us to co-create.
And with Him as well.
Yeah.
Not separate.
Okay.
Can you give some insight into, this is really deep, valuable, and you'll hear Catholics going out before you're stringing landmark, yes, okay, goes okay. What's the resistance? We're getting this out. And why is it, I mean, that this is so that just mean? It seems hidden. People have to dig for it. Even the Pope, he doesn't push this. So like you have to seek it.
Yeah, and you see, part of that is respecting people. See, the Pope knows, the important leaders in the church know that you're not objects to manipulate. Even if you say, manipulate me, I want to be manipulated, right? It's an insult to manipulate me. So the Pope's not going to do that. On the other hand, these other movements that you describe are precisely ways for somebody to manipulate other people and to rip them off. So yes, you could go to an EST conference, but it's going to cost you $350 for the weekend. Yes, you can go to an EST institute, but then you're going to have to pay $1,000 a week. And that's the kind of stuff which is uppermost in the commerce of America. It's what all the advertisement is about, it's what all the noise and the flashing lights are about. Right. But it's not where the meaning and the value is. So it's our job when somebody comes home from an EST conference and is halfway honest about it, says, you know, I wasted a lot of money there. I didn't get what I wanted. And they manipulated us and they had us all get up and cheer and say, wasn't this wonderful? And we did all this stuff. We're going to go out and tell our friends to come in. They're trying to use us as advertisers. And as the person sort of unburdens himself with the way he's been manipulated, then you do something which would be a gift for him.
What is an EST conference?
Well, don't worry about that. It's just one of the many ways that can be done.
Capital S?
Yeah. EST.
It's now Landmark.
What?
It's now called Landmark,
Oh, Landmark.
It's called Landmark?
and it's changed, they tell me.
Okay. So these are the things that are consistently happening, ways to manipulate people. Right? And what you do for this person as their unburdening self is that you do something non-manipulative. It may be as simple as saying, you're right. You are more valuable than that. Maybe that's all the gift they could receive at the time. But you might also be able to tune them into these other things, to show them how it is that they are much more meaningful and much more valuable than some manipulable object from which someone can extract money.
Brian, what is it that we don't try and drink at the well of some of the philosophies of indigenous cultures, such as the Australian Aboriginal culture, you know, that has gone on for 40,000 years uninterrupted? They must be doing something very right within the community that works. And why is it that we don't tap it on a larger level, whether we're Christians or whatever, to find out what were they doing within that community that works so well?
Well, for one reason is it doesn't work very well.
They don't get along with this.
Yeah, that the Aborigines have some practices which are very well suited to the desert, but they aren't very well suited to other things. See? They don't know how, within the confines of that culture, to accept the other cultures. And the deficiencies of their culture would be the major reason why we don't drink from their well. Now, the fact that some people survived that way for 40,000 years, hey, you know, that's good. If you're going to survive without much in the way of things to work with in the outback of Australia, then you definitely want to adopt that culture. But it just doesn't have anything to offer you for living in Santa Fe today.
There's a movie out of Australia called Where Green Ants Dream. That tells a lot of how the Aborigines live, and the manipulation of other cultures to those Aborigines. I've seen the movie and it's real interesting. Thank you, brother.
What's it called?
Where Green Ants Dream.
Green ants,
Dream.
green ants, green.
Where Green Ants Dream.
Green. Green. Green, oh, dream. Green and green.
Okay, we can get all that cleared up in the break. Okay? Meanwhile, the important thing here is that other cultures are valuable because there are people there. And it is the people that we should be paying attention to. Right? If the people are our primary focus, then we will do this kind of community with them, provided that they want the kind of community done. If they reject it, okay, then we need to respect them. We need to say, that's the way they're going to respond, right? We respect them as the gift of God that each one of them is.
That's
But
it.
we don't have to adopt what they are doing. We can, we have that kind of freedom, and if there is some need to be met in our community, which is well met by some process in their culture, then it is the Christian who is open to that. That's not usually how cultures work. Most cultures are pretty closed. Most cultures say, you get out of line, you die. And the Christians say, well, you know, you get out of line, you can be forgiven. It's a cultural superiority, so to speak. But it's not a reason for cultural imperialism. It's a reason to share. So these are the things to consider. As you go through what Gabriel Marcel provides, you come to see that he has hit upon something very important about this gift is your very nature as a human being, and giving is in tune with your nature. Taking, on the other hand, is an opposition to your very nature. We have seen the enemy, and he is us. We are our worst enemies because we violate our gift nature by trying to take. Anything else about this, sir?
Look, when all this falls under cultural anthropology, you mentioned the word anthropology, cultural anthropology.
Well, you could call it that, but it's really Christian anthropology.
Yeah, they're very similar then.
Very